Well, hello everybody. This is Cert Instructor Ron. I just want to get you prepared for, well, those emergencies that are potentially going to pop up during storm season. That's here in Oklahoma. Other places around the country could be storm season, could be hurricanes, could be earthquakes or whatever. But we're just going to go with the storm season, and if you prepare for that, you're about prepared for anything. So let's just make a quick plan and get you ready. So, like and subscribe and make comments. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments section. Okay, so let's just get started. Okay, there's a lot of resources out there on the internet that you can use to get prepared. Now, something I have done in the past is I've taken these sheets. I'll kind of go over it with you. And 21 weeks to prepare. And you have weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to prepare. And it gives you a whole list of things to get ready for. You can probably pause this and look at it if you want. But if you don't have something like this or nobody gives it to you, go to, the Ready site here, ready.government//be informed. So you can see there's a lot of resources on this site. Go to it, see what you need, make a list. There's all kinds of things. You can order free materials. It gives you downloads that you can go to, as you can see here. So you can download that stuff and get it to your computer or phone. And there's all kinds of things that happen. Anything from hazardous material incidents, home fires, all kinds of things. Hurricanes, landslides, nuclear explosion. Might be looking at that someday. Nuclear power plants, pandemic, power outages, and the list goes on. So even thunderstorms or severe weather, space weather, I don't know. Maybe that's why we need the Space Force. But anyways, you can see there's a lot of things here. Tornadoes, tsunamis, volcanoes, more than I have time to cover here. But there's all kinds of documents that you can do. So that's something that you can do. You can download yourself, get those documents, look at what you need. Normally, 3 days water, 3 days food. You're going to need some sort of shelter, whether it's hot, cold, or indifferent. But that's not to get into air and whatever else. So this is a good site to go to, and I would say go there, download it, share it with your friends. So let's talk about some of the other things that you're going to need. So now that you got food and water and things like that covered, let's talk about ham radio and emergency communications. And the reason I'm going to touch on this is you guys can see there that what we're seeing is many people grow up hearing about disasters in far off lands and how amateur ham radio operators were initially the only means of contact with the outside world. And that still happens today. You can see that there. I am a ham radio operator, general class, which means you have 3 levels. You get your technician, your general, and your extra. Your general gives you the ability to talk hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, simplex, which is radio to radio, and extra gives you more bandwidth. So you get just a more opportunity to talk to people and less clutter out there. So if I were studying to be an extra, I would be retired and had nothing else to do. So what I'm doing as a general class is just fine with the public. So there's all kinds of things that come in, but I will tell you that if public communications go down, be it tornadoes or something else, the grid, who knows, there's 1,000 different things that could happen. You need to communicate. So get you some sort of a radio to listen to whatever broadcasts are out there, AM, FM, maybe shortwave, something like that. But you definitely need to stay in touch with outside sources and your neighbors. So there's a whole plethora of radios that you can get. You can get something that's simplistic. This would be, I'm going to say, bottom. I'll say that again, bottom of the line radio. And something like that, you're going to be able to talk to your neighbors close by. I say that within probably a quarter of a mile or less. You could talk further, but if there's any difficulty in the terrain that you're in, forget it. So you may not even be able to talk to the end of your road if you have hills in the way. So this is very short range. Again, it's line of sight, very weak, but it is a way to communicate. And if a lot of your neighbors have these radios, then you can probably communicate some, get the point across, and spread things instead of having meetings on flooded roads or whatever. So these are good to get. A lot of them, they'll keep you informed of weather conditions if the weather's a problem. That's a good thing to have, but you can't talk very far. So that's the minimum that you should have. And if you get this, try it out with your neighbors, your family, whatever. Let them go to the end of the block, the furthest point, and see how far you get. So hopefully you can do better than I said, but that's the expectation. They're just not that good. They're not that powerful. So something that a lot of people are using. I'm not going to recommend this unless you're a ham radio operator. Anybody can buy this radio. They're pretty cheap, as you can see it on prices. I've had a number of them, but they are ham radios. I emphasize ham radios. So if you communicate with this radio, it says it's 5 watts, but usually it's under somewhere around 4 or so. You'll get out on them decently well. I can get into repeaters with them 10, 15 miles away. Simplex is not going to be that simple, so Simplex are not going to be able to talk that range, maybe 1 or 2 miles, something like that, unless you're on top of a hill. But again, you need a license for these radios. You're free to listen, but again, to operate this radio, you need a license. And a lot of people say, well, if I'm in an emergency, I can use that radio, so who cares? Nope, that's not the truth. The truth is this, that if you only have one way of communicating with others, and that's ham radio, and somebody's trapped under a car and drowning, something severe, you're allowed to use that radio. But if you want to get on there and talk to your neighbors about, the floodwaters are coming up and they're not in immediate danger, you can't use that radio. And that's exactly what the law says. So there's a lot of people out there that want to disagree with that. That's okay, but you can read it with your own 2 eyes and see. I will put that on the screen right now, and it tells you exactly what it says. It tells you that for life and safety and protection of property, yada yada yada, that if there's no communications available, then you can use ham radio, and that's what it says right there. So you can see, okay, and that's going to come out of Part 97 dash 403. So that's the law. A lot of people say that. So what I'm telling you is get prepared. So you never know when it's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to come in the middle of the night and be a tornado or a flood or an earthquake. You never know, but always have things that you can use to communicate with. It's the most important thing that you can do. And you either can call and get help with a good radio, or you can contact a friend, or you should just listen in. So you can go back to these radios And a lot of people are buying these radios. They're very popular to listen to. And what you can do is, I'll tell you, you can get on the internet and you can look up all the ham stations nearby and program them in and listen. And the other thing that you can do, I would tell you, is I'm a GRMS operator too, and GRMS is a lot like ham in the fact that you have to have a license, but you pay $70 for 10 years. So that's $7 a year to get a license. You can share that with your immediate family. So if you have kids or grandkids or sons or daughters, you can let them use the license. You can get a radio, program in the frequencies, listen to what's happening on the repeaters too. So it's a good thing to have around. A lot of towns are doing the GRMS because people don't have to study and get a license. They just pay to get it. It's not as wide as ham, as so to speak. You have UHF and VHF on the ham bands and just UHF on the GRMS. So it's a good way to go. It's not the best, but it works. There are repeaters out there that you might hit. It ranges, 40 miles, maybe plus. You're not going to find them like you will the ham band. So it's a good thing to have a radio to know what's going on. And a lot of these radios like this Baofeng, you can plug in or program in the National Weather Service, or you can listen to FM radio on that Baofeng too. So there's a lot of good things that come with the Baofeng. Again, you have to have a license to transmit on this radio, but you can sure doggone well listen. And with the older Baofengs, you can program in the GMS frequencies and, listen to that as well. So anyways, that's all I got. I'm going to say just get ready, do your preparations, get your family ready, have a meeting place, get your gear together, whether that's rain gear or whatever gear you need to stay dry, warm, and comfy, and have a place to go. Know where to go when things go wrong, and know who to contact. And I would challenge any of you here to get involved in emergency management. Take the CERT course, which CERT stands for, Community Emergency Response Team. And of course, some of you have seen that. If you get on the CERT team, you'll probably know what's going on in your neighborhood. They'll give you a bag. I even have a hard hat, for example, and it says CERT on it. It's part of here in Oklahoma, it's part of the Department of Homeland Security, but most states, that's what they're going to be part of, and they're going to help you get ready for disasters and sharing that information with your neighbor. And one of the things that I do, I go out this time of year. I've got packets that I hand out, plastic bags, and I hand this stuff out to neighbors and business owners and churches, and I try to get in there and perhaps teach a class. And that's something that I would encourage any of you to do, because you never know when disasters are going to strike. So that's all I've got. Get prepared, get your flashlights, your batteries, all that extra stuff you need, and who knows when the next season's going to come or this next disaster. So be ready, and not only be ready for yourself, but be ready to help other people. And that's the most important thing. For my background, I got involved with the tornadoes in 2013 in Oklahoma. One was in Shawnee. It was EF4, I recall. And I went out and I didn't really assist with search and rescue, but I did help people patch things like the roof and move big limbs from their driveway so they could get out. We cleared streets, whatever. And then later, about a week later, I got involved in the 2013 Moore tornado. That was an EF4 to EF5. The kids lost their lives there at the school, so the teacher, I was digging through the rubble there. That kind of impacted me. And then I was in the El Reno tornado with my pickup. In fact, one of my videos here reflects that. and I still have damage on my pickup. It's a reminder every day. But I got involved there doing search and rescue, and in 2014 I took the CERT course, became a CERT guy, and now I'm a CERT instructor. So I'm a ham radio operator because I know that emergencies happen and they need to communicate. So this is one of my radios that I have. This radio is waterproof. It's I-67, as I recall, and that basically means if I have it right, somebody can correct me. That's okay. It means it'll stay submerged in water up to 3 feet for 30 minutes. So this phone, or not a phone, it's a radio. This radio is a good radio. It's durable, and it's what I need. So it's better than a UV5R. That radio is not going to take a lot of damage to it, like water right away, but it's not waterproof, and eventually it'll short out, where this other radio isn't. So you can buy radios, but I would tell you, don't buy the cheapest radios. I would look into it, and a lot of times you're going to have to get a license. So be prepared, and be prepared to communicate with your neighbors, emergency management, whoever. So that's all I got. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video. And I'll just say, everybody, get prepared. You never know when things are going to happen. Thank you.